You're listening to the Snyder-Collin podcast, presented by FPP Broadcasting. This week's episode brought to you by Walgreens, where shopping is a pleasure.
President. Oh, man. Yeah. As you can see what I'm on today, just like we on every other day, go get it. Get to the bag, music, Cocaine trap music type shit, I'm a rare individual, cut off your hand if it's killing you. You gotta stand on your tippy don't take. I got cool like I'm booty. She give me tank, then I sleep on her booty. Bought me a house, turn that bitch to a cutie. I'm flying, I elevate. I got problems, I open.
Is Walgreens really a pleasure to shop at? Isn't that Publix?
Yeah.
Well, it's really a pleasure to shop at Walmart.
You're right, it is.
You just go there and you just have a pleasant experience.
You really do. I mean, not really, though. I always find myself really afraid for my life shopping at Walmart.
Walmart's basically like this nightmare place where, like, all the, worst people come to, congregate and, buy cheap merchandise from. Welcome to the Snyder-Collin podcast.
Yep.
I'm Colin Goody.
And I'm your co-host, if you will, Jacob Snyder. We're both the hosts of this show.
Today we're going to be reviewing the new French film Deadpool 2 from director Jean-Luc Godard, part of the French New Wave, blah, 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 of the 1950s. We'll be looking at this classical piece.
Yes, it's very high art,
Mm-hmm.
so it's kind of hard to appreciate. You really have to have a certain taste for things like this. It's an acquired taste.
It's not meant to be enjoyed. It's meant to just be respected. It's like 8.5. You watch it. Well, that's not a French movie, but it's like 8.5. You watch it, you're like, wow, this is the best movie ever made. But I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it one bit.
I've never seen 8.5.
It's a weird movie. But so what's new on Twitter, Jacob? You're the Twitter.
What's new on Twitter?
You're human Twitter to me.
Interesting. Okay.
This is how I get my news updated.
That's a fun question. What's new on Twitter right now? Well, making the rounds, big newsworthy things. I'm just gonna compile your Twitter question into news in general.
Yeah, just tell me. I want to know what's.
This is kind of big. This is actually pretty big. I'm gonna break this for you.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm gonna do a thing. But let me do this. Jake Gyllenhaal is in talks as to let me think best of how to describe this. Jake Gyllenhaal is in talks to play Mysterio in Homecoming 2.
Oh my god.
Yes. Is that not in Spider-Man, the sequel to Spider-Man Homecoming?
I love that.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah, because everyone's like, oh, we want Jake Gyllenhaal to play Batman. And I don't really see that. No, I don't think he would do Batman any justice, but playing a weird ass Spider-Man villain that we haven't seen before. Yeah, definitely.
He could be so good. There is so much potential here.
As long as we see what even is Mysterio? He's like an avatar, the guy who wears the dome head. He's not actually in it. Mysterio,
he
the
usually
guy?
is. Yeah,
Oh,
he usually is in
okay.
it.
I was wondering
sometimes he has androids and stuff.
All right, because I was wondering if that was just his illusion. He was puppeteering it.
No, usually it's him.
Okay.
It's him in the fishbowl.
All right. I wasn't sure about that. I mean, yeah, that's great as long as we get the fishbowl.
Yeah, I really want the fishbowl as well. That would be really cool. I think it's a perfect opportunity to just go straight from the comics. Just adapt it perfectly. Don't
change up the design at all for Mysterio.
No. It could work so well.
Vulture, it worked, changing that up, because they pretty much had to.
Yeah, you're right.
And it fit the universe, because, it's oh, okay, Iron Man, Ant-Man, clearly people can have these, advanced suits.
You're right.
But yeah, don't need to change up the Mysterio look. But I am going to hold reservations until Avengers 4 comes out.
Yeah.
Because right now we don't even know. Right now, Spider-Man, he's a pile of, dirt and leaves.
Yeah.
But we know he's coming back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Spoiler, by the way.
Yeah, for Infinity War. Sorry. I'm definitely looking forward to that though. That's great casting if it's solidified. Right now he's in talks, but the pretty much every news site, including the Hollywood Reporter, is saying he will will play Mysterio. As of right now, he's going to do it.
That's the word.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And also, Michael Keaton's going to return.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I find interesting. That they're definitely going to do. They're lining up for the Sinister Six at some point. They're going to try to do it.
That sounds pretty amazing to me.
It does. Especially with I think that with Michael Keaton's Vulture, he has reservations. He's not exactly like a clean cut bad guy.
Yeah.
He just kind of has different motivations, and whatever would lead him to join the Sinister Six, I find very intriguing. Yeah, I would want to see more of that.
Because he's not an evil son of a bitch. He's just he's kind of just like a guy who's trying to fleece money by stealing shit.
Yeah.
you know?
Exactly. I would definitely I'm interested in seeing what his motivations would be, because he sounds
because
at the end of Homecoming, even
him.
he does something honorable by not saying who Peter is, because he knows.
Peter saved him.
Yeah.
From I don't remember what exactly. He could have left him there and he could have exploded.
Yeah. The more I've thought about Homecoming, the more I really do like that as a Spider-Man movie. It's really great. I've
rewatched it. I've only seen it twice. Once in the theater, one on Blu-ray, and it held up for me the second viewing.
Yeah.
I still really, really enjoyed Homecoming a lot.
Yeah, I don't really understand. A lot of people have problems with his how techie the suit is and how he relies on technology, and that's kind of the point, I think. Because the first act of the movie, he uses the Spider-Man suit with no tech.
It comes off very Sony.
What do you
mean?
Kind
of that's a Sony thing, sort of make a suit like Iron Man, because it is a joint movie made by two studios.
Yeah, I feel at the end of the day, it's kind of making fun of it too, though, because the first act of the movie, he doesn't have all those upgrades and stuff like that, so it shows that he can make his own web fluid. He's pretty good without the suit being super techie anyway.
You're talking about when they save people when they take off the training wheels.
Yeah. And then it goes, okay, we're going to take off the training wheels protocol. One, he's smart enough to do it with Ned, and it's Stark Tech, so
they do it. They do it in the hotel room. With, their laptops.
Yeah,
and they just hack the suit.
Yeah, exactly. They show that they're both pretty smart kids, which is good, because Spider-Man needs to be smart. And then he lets the tech go to his head, and it causes him to make a mistake that he himself would have probably been able to do without that technology suit. He would have been able to save that ferry without the tech suit, but I think it gets in the way of things, and he ends up fucking up. And then the third act, he doesn't have the tech.
Yeah, I didn't mind the artificial intelligence in his suit. People being oh, it's like Iron Man. Okay, I can see your point, but it never bothered me personally.
No.
So
I like the whole movie because it all comes full circle once he gets the suit back, because presumably it's a stripped back version of the suit before. It has the training wheels thing. I think, right? Wouldn't it?
Spider-Man Homecoming?
Answer my question.
Or wait, when he got his suit back?
When he gets his suit back at the end, it doesn't have all the technology, does it?
They don't address that. So
in Infinity War? I would say
they don't. No, what's her name?
Karen?
Karen, yeah.
Yeah. It's Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah.
She's not addressed in Infinity War at all.
He doesn't hear her. I'm going to go ahead and say that she's not there. He doesn't have that tech anymore.
But I think it might pop up in Homecoming too. Whatever it's going to be.
I'm going to say that they're just going to breeze over it and say,
really?
You know what? He has the suit. All it does is it has the eyes. It has the eyes that allow him to focus or whatever, on what he needs to see. Because I guess they say something about that in Civil War. He has a lot of his senses are so over the top now that he can't really focus on one thing. So the eyes on the suit, retracting like a camera lens, kind of help him dial it in a little bit. I think that's what he said. It's all complicated. It's basically just a way to make his eyes emote.
Yeah,
which is cool. It looks good. But I think his suit's just going to be pretty bare bones now, which I like.
So Jake Gyllenhaal, he may be Mysterio. That's exciting.
It's pretty cool.
What else is new on Twitter?
There's a new trailer for the new film Mowgli.
Is this the Andy Serkis?
Yes.
Really? That came out?
Yes. It looks.
What does it look like?
The trailer for it starts out with the darkest retelling yet, or whatever. And I knew that you would love that. Overall, though, it looks pretty like insane.
Does it look anything like the Jon Favreau Jungle Book movie? Like any
sorta, because like the CGI's both of those movies had good CGI in them.
Yeah.
So like, you know, you get like your Shere Khan. He looks great, obviously. I don't know who voices who. I heard a familiar voice. The voiceover voice in this movie, or the trailer that starts out, sounds a lot like Christian Bale. I don't think he's in it.
I want to say Benedict Cumberbatch is voicing someone.
He might be Shere Khan. I don't know if that's true, but...
So, no, I haven't seen the trailer at all.
Well, you should watch it. Also, though, I wanted to... real quick, I want to give a shout-out, because we were working on... over the weekend. And at some point on Friday night, I was outside. I was working outside. And I met a lovely 2 people. I don't know if they're a couple, so I'm not going to offend them. But their names were Denise and Ash, and they told me I have a lovely voice serving them. So I was like, well, you know what? You know what's even better than my voice when I'm serving you? It's on a podcast called Snyder-Collin Podcast.
Were they like, oh my God?
Yeah, not really. But but you know, I led them to the Facebook page and the iTunes stuff and like subscribe for them and all that. So, and I was very careful not to push it on them because I don't like doing that because I feel like most people aren't really interested in podcasts too much. But I told them I would give them a shout out. So shout out to Denise and Ash. Thank you for listening. If you are listening, I told you I'd shout you out, so you should be listening. But thank you for entertaining me that night. They were very lovely to serve. It was one of those tables that you actually genuinely say it's a pleasure to serve you, and you mean it.
Oh, like, yeah.
You know, you have a good one. You know, hey, take it easy, guys. Have a good one. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you don't actually mean that.
Everyone had a good time.
Yeah, exactly. And that was nice. So it was great.
Well, cool.
Yeah, shout out to those guys. They were very kind.
I'm glad they took just a small, tiny part of their day to just even look at it with their eyeballs.
Yeah, it's very humbling. Great. Yeah, it's very cool. Anyway.
So Mowgli.
Yeah, Mowgli.
Andy Serkis's version. I'll have to check out the trailer. It's just a teaser. The darkest retelling yet. I mean, I guess the Jungle Book is pretty dark. The book might be a bit more mature than people lead on to be. There's also that trailer for Bohemian Rhapsody.
I wanted to talk about that.
So, do you know the background behind this? Not like the Bryan Singer, but like the Sacha Baron Cohen version of this movie?
No, I did not know about that. So, I know that Rami Malek plays him now.
So
Freddie Mercury.
This was basically going to be like Sacha Baron Cohen's like passion project.
Really?
Yeah, he was going to play Mercury, which I think Sacha would have nailed that. Just, because he can kind of like, he's like somewhat of a chameleon, because he does like Borat, Ali G, Bruno. Like he's all about like kind of like getting into character and changing up the way he like looks and everything.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to do it. I think it was going to be called Some Kind of Magic.
Oh.
And it was going to be like a hard R like biopic. Because Freddie Mercury, he did not live a very sanitized lifestyle. He was like a sex addict, and he died of AIDS. I don't know if he did any drugs. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he did lots of them. But like, he just wanted to make a very solid biopic. And then the remaining members of the band Queen, let's just say Brian May, the guitarist, they had like conflict with this because they were like, we want it to focus on like the band and like how the band like recovered after Freddie dies. And Sacha was basically like, what the fuck? No one wants to see that. No one wants to see a movie where like Freddie Mercury like dies like halfway through, and then band just be like, oh man, we gotta keep the band together. Basically, they just disagreed.
Okay.
And now we have this Bohemian Rhapsody movie. Horrible title. Oh, let's just title it after the most famous song.
I guess I don't really like the title either, but I'm holding off my concerns until I see it because it might work. Like I don't really know.
The trailer was fine.
I think it looks good. I actually liked the trailer quite a bit.
I think the movie will be pretty good. The trailer was kind of just very like, it's about Queen.
Yeah.
You know, like has all like the songs kind of blending together. Rami Malek, he looks like Freddie Mercury when he's performing the Live Aid. When he has like the long hair, I wasn't really buying it, but when it shows him with like the mustache and like short hair and he's wearing all white, I was like, yeah, that look like he looks pretty spot on.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to seeing his performance. Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Could be it's coming out in November, so obviously they're gonna try to push. I mean, I don't know. The movie might not be great, but they'll probably definitely try to push Rami Malek for Best Actor. The studio. We don't know if there will be any buzz, but it's definitely warranted for that type of like consideration. Biopic. Coming out in November.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll have to wait and see. But did Bryan Singer direct this, or did they pull a what's it called, a Justice League or a solo on Bohemian Rhapsody?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Let me look and see who directed this film.
Because Bryan Singer, he like got fired or something because he was like stepping away and like leaving all the time. And they're like, "Where the fuck are you going?"
Yeah,
like come back to film.
I don't know. Hold on, let me find it. IMDb. I have my country boy internet here.
Yeah,
it's really awful.
It is.
Sorry, Collin.
For those of you who don't know, Rami Malek is best known as the guy in Until Dawn for PS4.
It is directed technically by two people, Bryan Singer and Dexter Fletcher.
And Dexter Fletcher, he's getting like a credit.
Yeah, he is.
Interesting. So they're kind of like they're merging Justice League and Solo.
Pretty much.
Interesting. That's a new one.
Yeah. So, cool. That's kind of interesting. Yeah.
Is this what's this rated? Is it gonna be like a hard R, like adult movie?
I'm not really sure. I don't want them to. I feel like it looks like a PG-13 movie, but I hope it's not.
I don't want them to shy away from all the sex. You know?
Yeah. I don't think it has a rating yet.
Okay. I hope they don't sugarcoat anything, because that's what Sacha Baron Cohen wasn't going to do.
I hope they don't either, but I heard some disheartening news in that regard. I've heard that they're not going to touch on the AIDS thing, which I don't see why you wouldn't. Like, it's not the most important part. But it's a very crucial part of his life, and it's a biopic. Like, it's meant to...
Yeah, he died during the AIDS crisis.
Yeah. Like
he contracted it.
Exactly. Like, that's part of his life. It should be told. I don't know if I believe that, though, 100%. Because it looks like this movie... Looks like there are time jumps in it. You know what I mean? Like, it looks like it covers a large amount of time. Yeah. And, like, I have a feeling, though, the movie's not about Freddie Mercury. It's about the band. It's, like, about the band Queen... And maybe with Freddie Mercury, he's going to be at the center of it because he was at the center of the band. But like, it's not his story. It's the band's story. It's Queen.
And that's where it goes back to the Sacha Baron Cohen one.
Yeah,
having a fallout.
Yeah,
maybe they made a compromise and they were like, look, maybe we'll just make it about like the band, but obviously Rami Malek is the star.
Yeah,
it's weird seeing someone play Brian May.
That is weird.
Like the guitarist, like that was weird.
Yeah.
Like seeing an actor portray Freddie Mercury just kind of like makes sense. But it's just kind of like, oh, I'm playing Brian May.
Yeah.
I got the role, everyone.
Yeah. Let me say this. Sacha Baron Cohen, I know he's a very talented guy. I would not have bought him for 1 second as Freddie Mercury. He's so distracting.
He would have nailed it. I think he would have really nailed that performance.
All you'd see is Borat, because even like the mustache look that Freddie Mercury has is way too similar to Borat for Sacha Baron Cohen to pull that off. I would not have bought him.
I think Sacha looks more like Freddie Mercury than Rami Malek does. Like based on like, just like looking at them. Like I can what I'm saying is like I can kind of picture it in my mind vividly, like Sacha Baron Cohen like playing in this movie like on stage with like a microphone. They both have big mouths. Like that's what I'm saying is like when I first heard that I could picture it very well.
Yeah, I mean, I think that
he's British. Is Rami Malek British?
I believe he's American.
Oh, well,
but he's also a very good actor. He's very talented. Yeah, he's not to be trifled with. He's certainly can hold his own. Well, Mr. Robot is very good.
I want to see Mr. Robot.
Watch it.
I've heard good things.
I have heard good things also. I don't know for myself if it's good, but apparently it's like the best thing ever. So
it's all like directed by one guy, which is crazy for a TV show.
It is pretty crazy. That's very hard to do.
Think, from what I understand, I don't remember his name, but he did most of season 1, not every episode. And now he just does every episode.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Bohemian Rhapsody. I guess we'll have to wait until November.
I guess we will
review that movie, maybe, perhaps.
Yeah. Let me think of what else. I know I had something to say. Okay. I guess.
Very cool.
Yeah. Very cool.
Did you watch the newest Nerd Crew?
No, I haven't. I haven't gotten around to it.
It's pretty great.
Yep. News on Solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay.
It's apparently decent. That's it. So, in Avengers 4, we're just gonna move along from that. In Avengers 4, okay, backstory. Jim Starlin is a comic book writer.
Okay.
And or artist. Not really sure which one.
Sure.
But he is credited as the creator of Thanos. There you go. In Avengers 4, it sounds like another Jim Starlin character that was created will join the cast.
Adam Warlock?
Perhaps Adam Warlock. That's the thought. I'm gonna guess it's Star Fox, who's his brother.
Star Fox? Sorry, I just thought of the video game immediately, and I was like,
I believe Star Fox is actually like Starhawk or Star Fox. I don't think it's Starhawk because I think Starhawk is Sylvester Stallone, which is confusing. There's a lot of Star people: Star Lord, Starhawk, Star Fox. I don't know if it's Star Fox. I can't remember. God, I'm connecting to my VPN because the internet back here is so shitty.
Yeah, you might as well have dial-up internet, Jacob.
You're right. I might as well. It's pretty horrendous. I don't know. Lately, it's been really weird too because like the power's gone out like a couple days in a row.
Really?
And that's kind of scaring me. Yeah, because like for a sec it's, but the thing is, this is a laptop and it runs on its own power somewhat, so it doesn't. Whenever the power goes out, it doesn't just go off. But that one doesn't have its own power supply, so it does just go off.
Well, yeah.
So that kind of sucks because when I'm uploading a video to YouTube, if the power flickers for a second, that cuts the whole thing down.
Oh, that's annoying.
Yeah, and it's happened before. That really blows. All right, so to go into more detail on that, he created Thanos, Gamora, and Drax. And there's another character that's going to be set to appear in this movie that was created by him, apparently. So yeah.
I guess
it's kind of interesting.
Some new characters.
Yeah. Also, Lady Death is one that he did. Yeah. Okay. Thanos' brother, Eros. E-R-O-S. He has a brother, yes. He's a brother who's another Titan. And apparently the Titans are a race that they thought about introducing into Avengers 3, which is Infinity War. But they didn't because time.
Money.
Yeah. Well, they already filmed scenes with like the Titans and stuff like that.
Really?
They filmed those. Yeah. But they're apparently more human looking than Thanos is because Thanos is a very deformed baby.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And he's an outcast for that reason.
I was wondering, I was like, would they all just like look like Thanos?
No, they don't look unlike him, I guess. But Thanos doesn't exactly look totally alien. He looks like a man, somewhat.
Yeah, you can look at him and be like, okay, there's his eyes, his nose, his mouth.
Yep, there you go.
He has human qualities.
Exactly. Just they all don't have like the striated chin that he has, and they're not all massive. Purple. Yeah.
Are they all like huge, or are they just kind of like?
I think they're just
people with like like basically like Gamora, like the aliens you'd see in like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it's just like a person with like pink skin.
Yeah. But yeah, Thanos' brother is called Star Fox. Also maybe his grandfather Kronos. Really going with the Titan thing there.
Yeah, clearly. Zeus. His son Zeus. Thanos' lost son Zeus.
Yeah. I guess Adam Warlock is also a possibility, because he did create Adam Warlock.
Okay.
And also Pip the Troll, which will not be the case. They are not going to do that.
Do you think the Sovereign will be in Avengers 4 if they do bring in Adam Warlock?
If they brought in Adam Warlock, they'd have to be in it.
Yeah, because
but I don't think they're bringing him in. James Gunn has said over and over and over again that they're not doing that till Guardians 3.
Okay.
So I believe him.
So
I don't really see them doing that.
Huh.
It's just too much to tackle in one movie. Like, you have to solve the problem of the last movie while also introducing this weird, like, perfect man.
Yeah, I don't even really know what Adam Warlock even is. He's like the $6 billion man or something.
Basically, yeah. In the comics, he has the
creative.
Soul Stone in his forehead, which is very similar to what they did with Vision.
It's exactly what they did with Vision.
Yeah, no, it's albeit like it's a different stone, but also the Mind Stone in the comics is the same color as the Soul Stone is. Sorry, the stone colors are different in the movies than they are in the comics. They have different colors and different meanings and whatever, but like the color, it's confusing. I'm not going to get into that.
Did they do that just to troll with the comic fans? Let's change the colors. I
think they did it to, because at first I don't think the Tesseract was meant to be an Infinity Stone. I think it was just a thing. And even up to the Avengers, I don't think it was meant to be one. It was never the Space Stone until they retconned it. But
yeah, they probably didn't have that planned out.
Yeah, no. And Loki's scepter especially. I don't think that was meant to be one. But then people started theorizing about it. And so like they were like, yeah, like Loki's scepter has to be the Mind Stone because it controls minds. And the writers of Avengers 2 were like, or Joss Whedon, I guess, was like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. Yeah,
in his weeded state.
Exactly.
As he normally is.
Exactly. And he was like, all right, well, I want to do Vision in this one too. And he should have an Infinity Stone in his head. Let's just make it to where Loki's scepter is that color, like that Infinity Stone. And then
someone's like, sure.
Yeah, someone was like, isn't that one purple? And he's like, yeah, just crack it open and it'll be yellow underneath. And that's exactly what they did.
In Age of Ultron?
Yes.
Okay.
There's a scene where Ultron's like, you've barely cracked the surface. That's a good James Spader.
Is that the retcon right there?
Yeah, it is. And then he lasers into the scepter, and then it cracks out into whatever color Vision's stone is.
Like yellow?
Yeah. It was purple, and it goes to yellow. It's a kind of a bad retcon that people tend to look over.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. Is that the scene with Andy Serkis?
No. It's Helen Cho. I don't know why I know all this. Mother of Amadeus Cho from the comics.
You mean that one Asian lady who's in there? And then she vanishes out of the universe.
Yes.
For the rest of these films.
Exactly.
Wow, I completely forgot she was even a thing. She was like evil scientist lady or something.
Yeah, she wasn't evil. She was being mind controlled by the Mind Stone, of course. Why wouldn't she be?
So, there is one trailer that I do want to talk about.
Okay. Oh, I know it. I know what trailer this is. Can I guess?
I think they dropped it as Deadpool 2 came out.
Yes, they did.
The same day.
Yeah.
And it's for this new Melissa McCarthy comedy movie called The Happy Time Murders.
Yeah.
Which I think kind of went under a lot of people's radars because there wasn't a trailer out for it yet.
Yeah.
The thing is that I really like the premise, but God, this movie looks dumb.
Yeah, it looks really like, I don't know, it doesn't look funny.
Yeah, it's really like raunchy based comedy, which I'm getting kind of sick of.
Yeah.
Like it made kind of like, first it was like gross out comedies with like There's Something About Mary, and then 40-Year-Old Virgin came out and it was all like raunchy.
Mm-hmm.
And then Judd Apatow made all his movies, and just, I don't know. It reminds me of Sausage Party, because basically the premise is in this world, puppets and people coexist, and puppets are like a species, kind of like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. That's literally what this is. It's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, but with puppets.
I'm not entirely disinterested in that concept, though. It's a pretty good concept.
Yeah, like it's a cool concept, but the problem is the comedy. Like, it's very like, oh, sex jokes,
Yeah, and it seems like they shouldn't have gone the raunchy route with this. Like, they could have made like a really good like adult comedy.
Yeah, like imagine
like
if it
something
was like,
really like
fun.
Like,
and if it was like kind of like gritty and like kind of somewhat serious, I feel like that would be kind of like you could get a lot of comedy just from that.
Yeah.
Just like how like, you know, like
it doesn't need to be the Muppets though. It needs to be more mature than that. Like it's because that the Muppets is sort of like that, and I think this is trying too hard to make fun of it, to where it's becoming like really self-indulgent. That's what I got from it.
Yeah, just it reminds me of Sausage Party, where it's like, oh, like the comedy's coming from, look, it looks like a DreamWorks movie, but they're saying fuck. And this movie's relying on the same thing where it's like, look, it's like kitty puppets, but they're like having sex.
Yeah, and it's like you know, like there's prostitute puppets that are like, I'll suck your dick and like stuff like that, and it's
the timing on that was so bad because it's like a pause, and you're kind of like, okay, say the joke, and then they say it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the timing was a little off.
Yeah, overall, the trailer, it ends on a very awful note that is probably extremely indicative of what the film will be, which is just like horrendously like gross, like not funny.
But it's not. But you're talking about when
the cum scene.
Yeah, but it's not really gross because it's like silly string.
Yeah, it's like it's basically silly string. Yeah, it just goes on for too long and it's not funny, and it wasn't funny at the beginning of it either. And then like it's I don't know, it's just kind of dumb.
Was your audience cackling?
No. It was dead silent, actually. I believe.
I'm pretty sure some people were laughing.
I'm sure that some people did too. It's just, I don't know. I wasn't interested in that.
Peter Jackson, he's actually already kind of done this. He made he made a movie fucking like forever ago called Meet the Feebles. I haven't seen it, but I want to say it's something similar where it's like these puppets who are on like this kids show or whatever. It's like they're what's like the debauchery that they do when like the cameras are off or something. I don't know. I've never seen it, but he made a movie that was somewhat similar called Meet the Feebles.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
So, Jacob, is there anything else you want to discuss real quick before we get into Deadpool 2?
Yeah, kind of. There is something actually Solo related that I did kind of want to touch on real quick.
Oh, no. What is it that you can't find a Lando Calrissian?
No, but it does have to do with Lando.
Figure?
It does have to do with Lando.
Is this when you're like Kathleen Kennedy says they're going to do a Lando movie?
No, that's not it either. But Kathleen Kennedy did say that.
Of course she did.
Apparently, too, Solo leaves off on a note. This isn't a spoiler. That leaves off on a note that's like, and there's a sequel coming. Like, we're going to do a sequel to this.
Really?
Yeah, which I'm not really. I don't. Rogue One didn't end on that.
No.
It was completely hopeless. I mean, I guess it does go, hey, there's a sequel, but it got made in 1977. The actual thing I want to talk about is that the writers of Solo, A Star Wars Story, have confirmed that Lando Calrissian is indeed pansexual. Basically, he's attracted to all genders.
So even like aliens?
Yeah, I'm guessing all that is, that's just a casual way of saying, like, yeah, he bangs aliens. He's cool with it.
Like, what do you mean they confirmed this?
I mean, they confirm it. They said, hey, he's a pansexual.
Why? Like, no one was asking. No one was...
I don't know if you weren't asking, but people probably were asking.
No one was questioning Star-Lord's sexuality.
Now people are. Actually, you're not on Twitter. People do question these things.
Really?
Yes. This was all the rage. It had a Twitter moment, which means it was a big thing that was talked about on this day.
I'm guessing that there's going to be a scene where, like, Lando is, like, gambling, and he has, like, his arms around, like, two, like, aliens that are clearly meant to be female.
Maybe.
And it's like, oh, he's pansexual. It's so progressive.
I don't know. It's, like Jonathan Kasdan, so a writer of this movie.
The Lawrence Kasdan's son?
Yes.
Oh, he's the one who confirmed it.
Yeah.
Dad, is Lando pansexual? Yes, son.
He says,
in this day
when
and age,
asked about his sexuality and whether or not he's a pansexual being, he said, I would say yes. There's a fluidity to Donald Glover's and Billy Dee's portrayal of Lando's sexuality. Then he goes on, I mean, I would have loved to have gotten a more explicitly LGBT character into this movie. I think it's time, certainly, for that, and I love that fluidity. Sort of the spectrum that Donald appeals to and that droids are a part of. I guess he bangs a droid. It's probably that L337 droid that he's friends with, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Bridgewater?
He bangs a
F.
droid.
Murray Abraham? I don't know if he bangs a droid, but he's attracted to one and flirts with one. Because he's Lando, and that's how he does things. I don't know. I guess I'm looking forward to this movie.
Yeah, we won't be able to review it for quite some time, though.
No, we won't. Oh, boy. But we'll have other things that go on this podcast while I'm away.
Don't worry, I'll just go see Solo like 3 or 4 times.
I know. Also, by the way, Jillian just said to go up to the front office, or the front desk. Because she'll be at guest services, so you just go up there and just ask her for the tickets.
I don't even think I can go.
Really?
On Thursday? Is that what you're talking about? Thursday? Yeah. Yeah, I'm like closing that day.
What the hell, dude?
I might try to switch with someone.
You should, because
I should try.
Free tickets for you.
Yeah. If not, I was just going to go on like Sunday or something. If I can't go, it won't be the biggest deal, but I still appreciate the offer by Jillian.
For sure. Try to get that Switch, though. That's pretty... Should go.
Yeah.
I might be going later that night to see it.
Get that hookup.
Yeah, you know it.
Wait, how are
it's
you...
only for a 7 o'clock,
late
at night. I would go at like midnight.
Really?
Yeah, I would. Because I want to go see this movie.
You have to get up to get on a plane.
At 4 in the afternoon.
Oh, wow. That's
My
late.
flight's very late, yeah.
Are you flying out of Tallahassee?
I am, yeah.
That's convenient.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's expensive, too.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not fond of that, but whatever. I guess if you get a good deal, which I did get a good deal, so...
Are you flying to Atlanta?
No, I'm flying to Dallas, and my layover is 40 minutes. I think I told you about this.
Yeah, you did, so you better hustle.
Yeah, it's not gonna be funny. It's not gonna be fun. I missed that flight.
I've flown alone before.
Oh yeah? Have you?
Yeah.
I didn't even know you flew. Where'd you fly to?
First to Atlanta, and then to Denver.
Nice. I didn't know you even had gone to Colorado alone before.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, it was to visit my dad. This was
cool.
This was like 5-6 years ago.
Oh, damn. Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You'll be fine. If dumb 18-year-old Collin could navigate and get on a flight, so can you. But your layover is 40 minutes? Dude,
yeah.
That's like 5 minutes in airport time.
You're right.
So try to...
I'm very concerned about my baggage not being there.
Well, fuck.
Yeah, I'm concerned. Anyway, I guess any other news? Yeah, that's it. We can get into Deadpool now.
All right, so this is our review of Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2. All right.
So this movie is, of course, the sequel to the smash hit Deadpool that came out in 2016.
Yes.
Came one of the biggest fucking things ever. Deadpool is very mainstream now.
You're right.
Before then, I guess most people didn't really know who Deadpool was. I don't think I really knew who Deadpool was until the CGI trailer came out.
Yeah.
I think, like, if you just show me a picture, I would have been kind of like, yeah, it's like some superhero guy. Yeah, him. Whatever.
Yeah.
But before that, no one knew much about Deadpool, and now he's very kind of synonymous with, like, popular culture and mainstream audiences.
You're right,
you know,
yeah.
Deadpool is. You want to hear something that kind of annoys me, though?
Yeah, what?
So, right now, you can go into Walmart and you can buy these, like, Fox Blu-rays. It's like Fight Club, Office Space, Speed. It's like some of their, like, catalog titles.
Yeah.
But instead of, like, Brad Pitt and Edward Norton being on the Fight Club cover, it's Deadpool!
Yeah, I saw those. I saw, like I guess a promotional website or whatever was running, like, hey, look at this, like, this is a cool thing that they're doing. And I was wondering how you would feel about that. So that annoys you?
A little bit. Because imagine if, like... I mean, really, it's for, like, collecting purposes, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's like, what if you actually were just, like, going to, like, try to find, like, yeah, you know what? I want to watch Fight Club. I bet Walmart has that on Blu-ray. Then you go to, like, pick it up, and it's just like, oh. It just has Deadpool on it. And if you weren't really that, like, in it, you'd just be kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why is he on this?
Yeah, to my knowledge, though, it's only the slipcover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not the actual case. I guess you can throw out the slipcover, but really it's for, like, collecting purposes, I suppose.
Yeah, and, like, I don't really hate that. I mean, it's kind of a cool thing that, like, maybe one day, like, when we look back, hey, like, that's pretty cool. Like, that's cool that they did that. That would be cool to collect all of those, because they're not going to do it anymore. I imagine it's a very limited time thing. It most certainly will be.
Well, it's to promote Deadpool 2, because if you buy it, you get, like, movie money.
Really?
Yeah, like, $8 off your purchase to see Deadpool 2. Have you ever done that? Have you ever bought a movie so you could get movie money towards, like, your ticket?
No.
I've never done that either. I don't know why I haven't, though.
How would it work? Like, through Fandango, probably?
No, it's like, you've never seen it, like, on the box? Like, on the cover?
No.
True. I think it's like a coupon, I guess, and you can just bring it to the movie. Like, it comes in the case, I think.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Would select theaters do it? Or
I guess all of them. Because it's like a tie-in. Like, it's like a tie-in with the studio.
Yeah. I would see trouble with that, though. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, Deadpool 2. So, it's a very, it's highly anticipated, this film.
Yes. This didn't come out in February either. So this is now, like, competing as, like, a huge blockbuster.
Yeah.
The first one came out in February, which was, like, a dumping ground month.
Pretty much, yeah.
But not ever since, because now you have, like, Black Panther coming out in February.
So, yeah. Quality films. I think that, I think that started with, or it didn't start, but one of the first movies to come out, like, earlier than it should have come out was Winter Soldier. Because it came out in,
February?
It came out in early March.
Yeah.
And it was not contested at the box office for a really, probably a good month and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And, like,
yeah, they won.
It was kind of easy because it didn't really make that much money.
But it had no competition.
Exactly. So it got a lot of buzz, so more people went and saw it because, like, oh, it's #1 at the box office this week again. It was a pretty good move, and also The Winter Soldier is a genuinely good movie, so it kind of helps.
So yeah, it's very smart to, like, place like a tentpole movie in a month that has no competition. It did the same thing in September. There's nothing to go see in September except for it.
You're right.
And it dominated the box office. Still would have done well. But I mean, think of War for the Planet of the Apes. That came out in, like, July, and there was, like, 5 other things to see, and it kind of flopped compared to the other two.
Yeah.
And
did you ever see War for the Planet of the Apes?
Yeah.
That's right. You liked it, right?
Yeah, I thought it was fine.
Yeah.
It was decent.
Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
This movie is about Cable going back in time to kill a young mutant, and Deadpool wants to interfere. But it's also about family.
Yeah, I mean, I would describe the plot as, like, Deadpool meets a kid who is troubled, and he's trying to save him from a time traveler who's killing him, or trying to kill him. There you go. It's pretty much it's a twist on Terminator in a lot of ways. So
me and Jacob have already shared our opinions.
We have, but we're going to reshare them, obviously.
One thing I want to say is that there's nothing wrong with enjoying a movie. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
You're right.
So just enjoy a movie,
yeah,
or anything like that. But Deadpool 2, I did not like this one at all. I did not care for it.
Yes, and I liked it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. But we will get into why we feel the way we feel. So how in depth do you want to go on non-spoilers?
I mean, I'm gonna have to cover very specific things because, like, what is there really to, like?
What is there to nitpick? Like, that's non-spoiler.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say that, like, my positives and negatives are, like, I think this movie is funnier than the original one, which you may disagree with, but I find it funnier. Even though I never really laughed out loud at anything, I'm kind of a tough person to get to laugh in a movie. I don't laugh out loud, so I'm not judging it based on that. There were things that I smirked at, and overall, I know that they are funny to me.
All right, so this movie is very humorous.
It's a comedy.
And I'll give it that, because at least like it is full of jokes, like all the time, pretty much.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's not like sparse, few and far between. But just I feel like that was too big of the focus.
The jokes?
Yeah, because dude, there's like 5 writers on this movie,
and
it comes off as like a bunch of people like hanging out, just like pitching jokes, and that's why there's just like irrelevant lines in it that are meant to be funny because it's like, oh, it's a reference. You've seen This Is the End, right?
Yeah, I have.
Basically, it's like Jonah Hill when he's like, bro, your references are sick. Which is a hilarious line in the movie.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's like what the writers were like saying. They're just like, oh, dude, Yentl? It does sound like, do you want to build a snowman? And it's like, that's not like the jokes, it's just like irrelevant humor. And that's kind of more of the focus than the actual plot. And I don't see why they couldn't do both. And if they did have like more focus on like, hey, let's like adapt one, like there's probably 1 million Deadpool comics that you can adapt. Is this adapting any specific storyline? Or is it kind of just taking like characters and like doing its own thing?
It takes and kind of does its own thing in a lot of ways. But the overall Cable storyline, I would say, is a little dumbed down from what the comics are.
Mm-hmm.
I won't get into that super deep because I'm just not that knowledgeable about it, to be quite honest.
About Cable?
Well, I know a lot about Cable, and we'll talk about who exactly he is, because I don't think you know who he is.
Yes,
and
I do.
Like, you do?
Yeah, he's Cyclops' son.
Okay, you do know who he is. He's Nathan Summers, yes.
I either found out on YouTube or you. I didn't like this isn't like knowledge that I like sought out. Just like, yeah, I'm well versed in X-Men.
Yeah, technically he's Cyclops and somebody else's son, and it's not Jean Grey.
Isn't it like depending on whether Cable's bad or not? If Cable's a good guy, he's Cyclops and blah 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 son. If Cable's bad, he's Cyclops and blah 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 son.
I didn't understand it that way. There's like a clone thing that they did at some point in the comics that retcons some things. There's a lot of complication around who exactly he is, but I would say that for all intents and purposes, he's Jean Grey and Cyclops' son.
Yeah.
Let's just say that, because there's Madeline Pryor, I believe, that's supposed to be his biological mother, and that was a random name that was thrown into a comic, from what I understand. To go, oh no, he's not Jean Grey's son, he's somebody else's. And it was more for just shock value. It didn't benefit the story at all. Doesn't really work. Anyway, that's who he is. But I enjoy, that's not touched upon in the movie. There are things about Cable that I liked, and about him, and like I'm interested to see more about that character. I like Domino. I liked Cable.
Domino, she was fine. I like how her power is just, I'm lucky. I'm just
how are you a mutant for that? How does that work?
She has abnormal luck.
I guess that's been done in the comics, and she's also lucky in the comics, so that works.
Basically, all right, let's be real, Snyder.
Yeah, I'm being real.
Deadpool is a movie that people love because people have like shit tons of Deadpool merchandise. That like you see people with Deadpool shirts on. Deadpool is a movie that people. Like, audiences loved it.
Yeah.
Like, blew them away. So if you loved the first Deadpool, you're probably going to like this one.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Yeah, and you kind of have to look at what people loved about that movie, too. Like, how random he is, how crazy he is, you know, like...
Isn't that why Tim Miller left?
I don't think Tim Miller was ever the right person for Deadpool, to be quite honest. Like, this is the perfect Deadpool movie, and the fact that you're tired of it and that you're over it is the exact reason I can only read about 5 issues of Deadpool in a row before you just get tired of him. Yeah, like this movie does it well too. Like, it actually holds. I was able to watch the whole movie and enjoy it. Deadpool is a character that immediately becomes oversaturated. Like, and just you can you have to balance it so well, and I think that they actually did do a really good job of not going too far into like the how far can we subvert the genre? How far can we turn it on its head?
When does Deadpool start to push the limits? I don't know. I don't know.
It can happen. Like they do it all the time. Writers try to go too far and do too much with the meta thing, and like I think this movie does a good job of balancing that.
I don't think they went meta enough.
I think they just went. I think they balanced it fine. Because I think there's ways to look. The end credits are incredibly meta, and we'll get into that. We'll get into that and all that. I think it's pretty ballsy what they do, especially considering some news that just came out. But we'll get into that later.
So Tim Miller and Ryan Reynolds, they had a conflict, and I might be wrong, but is it about because like Ryan Reynolds wanted to focus more on the raunchy comedy? That's what he kind of wanted to push more, and Tim Miller, or something about casting Cable.
All of the reports that I heard, there was rumors that Kyle Chandler was being considered for the role of Cable,
and that I'm sure he could have been fine.
Yeah, he would have been fine.
Yeah, he would have been fine.
Josh Brolin's a better choice. But
well, yeah, he would have been. Well, obviously, get Josh Brolin to do it. But Kyle Chandler, he would have been fine.
Yeah, I wouldn't have hated that. The most believable report that I heard was that it was over the budget. Because this movie has a $110 million budget.
And boy, does it not show.
Yeah, I don't know what that was used on.
Yeah, you see what I mean? Like, because it kind of looks like the first Deadpool movie.
It does. I think, there weren't enough John Wick moments in this for somebody who directed that movie. It should have been like, the gunplay really wasn't that great, now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more.
All the action was fine.
Yeah.
It's action.
I heard that on the Weekly Planet podcast, and they mentioned that, and that's a really good point, because, like, John Wick has a lot of good, like, gun moments, and, like, there's none of those in this movie. It's nowhere to be found.
Like, real, like, action.
Yeah, action. Like, good, like, one takes.
Yeah.
And, like, kind of thrilling. There's not really anything like that. The chase scene I liked. I thought that was a good little set piece. I found that to actually like outdo the bridge sequence from the first movie, which I find pretty cool too. That was probably the best part of that movie for me.
I don't think I would agree with that. I haven't seen the first Deadpool since I first watched it. I've only seen it once, but I like that scene. We're talking about when Deadpool just like lands directly in the car.
Yeah, it's a great scene, fine, but like I really enjoyed this new, like the one where they're chasing.
This one they're
chasing somebody. It's a chase scene.
This I guess this action set piece is a bit more elaborate, I guess.
Yeah, and there's more characters to play off of. Yeah, and it's a very good moment for Domino's powers to be shown in a really interesting way. Where it totally works. I liked it.
She's fine. I felt like they kind of hyped her up a bit because I remember they were like, "Oh, who are they going to cast as Domino?" And like she's fine. Like she does some things, but you're not watching it and you're feeling like, "Wow, this is like a really important character that they're introducing." Because she kind of comes in like halfway and she's like, "Hey, I'm Domino."
Yeah, I don't really think that. I don't hold that against her though, or them hyping her up. I think the hyping was for the fans. Yeah, the hyping was for the fans though. Like
I think the Deadpool hype is a little it's kind of gotten to me.
It's Deadpool gets to you. Like I'm telling you, it's a character that needs to be taken in very small doses. And these movies are doing a very good job of not over like doing it. And I think this movie tips on it a little bit because there are some jokes just to do it. But I will say, like, I don't hold that against the movie because that's exactly what the character is. Like, he just tells jokes in spots that don't need to be there.
But there's also a lot of other characters who are basically just like...
Well, his whole cast does that.
Yeah, they have the same kind of, like, Deadpool dialogue. Not Cable, and not really Domino.
Yeah.
But everyone else is kind of, like, written the same, where they're always, like, saying, like... I mean, they're not breaking the fourth wall or anything, but, like, you have the boy... You know, like he's always like saying like doesn't he make like some like Thug Life reference or like
I guess
he has lines that are meant to make the audience laugh because it's like, oh, it's funny because he's fat and he's a kid and he's saying like crude things.
Yeah,
and then you have T.J. Miller, who I don't think anyone is defending in this movie. Like,
no, he's not really in it a lot, though. Nobody's really.
But when he is, it's like, oh, I want to be like Deadpool 2 and say things. That's what he did in the first movie. When he's like, oh, you look like my asshole after I stuck anal beads in it.
Yeah.
And like,
I mean, like, he's kind of more just like that obnoxious friend that's not as funny as Deadpool is. Because he's not as funny as Deadpool is. I don't know, his humor just kind of wears thin. Good news, though, he's not going to be in X-Force. Yeah. So
Ryan Reynolds was just like, I don't think we're going to continue working with him. Yeah. Next question, please.
Yeah.
People get offended.
They do.
Yeah, when they say, oh, you don't like Deadpool? What are you, some sort of fucking dick?
I mean,
he's America's sweetheart.
I don't know. I think Deadpool.
He's the next Meg Ryan.
Next Meg Ryan.
Yeah, he's literally like America's sweetheart.
I would say that he's like. Drew favorited a tweet that I saw in his
is it the
in my timeline. Yeah, it's the Minions tweet. It's like Deadpool is like the adult version of Minions. And it's true. He is like that's a very accurate acknowledgement. It's very funny.
Hunter, he was texting me.
Yeah.
And he saw that I had given it a low review on Letterboxd, and he was like, what the fuck? Like, is it really that bad? And then he saw it, and he was like, I haven't listened to his review, because I think it just went up, the Wabam Deadpool one, which I'll have to check out. But anyways, he was texting me, and he was like, it wasn't all that good, but I don't think I disliked it as much as you. And then he texted me at later night, and he was like, the more I think about it, the more I'm kind of having problems with it. And I think he summed it up best, is that it's kind of like, the movie's kind of like Family Guy. Like, the style of, like, writing, it's like just a bunch of referential humor, which can be clever, but something about this movie just rubbed me the wrong way.
I would agree with that. It does feel a little like Family Guy, and
with the references, which can work, but these references just kind of, I don't know, like
referential humor is
it's like walking on a tightrope.
Yeah,
it's to be balanced.
And like it does, and for some it's different though. The balance is different. For some people just want to get references, and meta humor as a whole, the humor in this movie can make even a dumb person feel very smart.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, like they referenced a Batman v Superman, which I guess that's fine, referencing other superhero movies, because that's kind of the point of Deadpool.
Yeah,
he does reference other comics, but when you're referencing like more kind of obscure stuff, it just comes back to like, oh, they're just like pitching jokes, and like one guy thinks it's really funny, and they're like, yeah, let's put that in.
Yeah, I just, this movie for me was okay. Like I enjoyed it. To wrap up our non-spoiler, I enjoyed it. I thought it was a fun time. I don't like it as much as the first, but I find it funnier than the first. But also I think it tries too hard in some aspects.
Yeah.
But overall, I enjoyed the movie as a fan, and I thought that it was just a fun time. Nothing. I enjoyed it. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. Nothing that you weren't like blown away by it.
No.
Or anything. You weren't like just okay.
No, it's not as good as the first because it's just not as original as the first. It's more of the same, and I can't bash it for doing that. I would give the first one an 8 out of 10, and this one's just a 7 out of 10 because I find it just more of the same, and it was okay. It was cohesive. I wasn't ever lost or anything in the story. I didn't feel there were many jarring moments. None of the meta jokes took me out of the movie, where like there were no jokes in it that I was just like, oh my god, that's such a bad joke, or like that's so out of place. I know that you disagree, but that's just me.
Okay.
I just, I felt like it was a fun time, and I'm not really itching to see it again, so 7 out of 10.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. The first Deadpool, I thought it was fine. I'd give it like somewhere between a 6 and a 7. Fine, decent movie.
I remember you enjoying that like quite a bit when you first saw it. I thought.
I always thought it was fine. Like it was like it was good. Like it's a decent, fine movie.
Yeah.
I thought the script, like just the plot, thought his origin, like it's an okay origin, but I hated the whole like just like, oh, he's just trying to save his girlfriend. Like I wasn't expecting that from the marketing, because like Deadpool, like, oh, he's an asshole, but it's like, oh, he's just trying to save his girlfriend. But like 6, 7, 6 point, let's just say 6.7.
Okay. Yeah.
And this movie, I got nothing out of it. And just, I don't know. All right, so my rating for this is on a scale. I've come down to that.
All right, yeah.
It's between like between like a 4, 2, 3, just whatever mood I'm in. I just didn't like it, and like there's nothing in it that I can really like say that it did exceptionally well, and that's why my rating for this is particularly low. Not because it was just that god awful, but just I just didn't care for it.
Fair enough.
I thought it was just like come on, people, like this is garbage. I feel like an old man. That's what I feel like. I feel like a geezer, just like, no, this is garbage and revolting, and it's like I like that type of stuff. And there was a lot of times in the movie where like the joke would happen, and I'd be like, that is funny, but why aren't I laughing?
I mean, I think there's a whole psychology to get to behind that. Like that's just not. I don't want to get into that. I just no, not about that.
All right,
but like,
so,
yeah, whatever. We'll move on from that.
So I particularly didn't care for it. If you liked it, that's absolutely fine. But however, I will defend if anyone says that this is like an incredible movie. That's when I'd be kind of like, really? But if you enjoy it, that's fine. If you're a fan of Deadpool, that's fine. But let's get into this movie. And all right, so movie starts off with like this uncanny shot of Deadpool with his mask half off, like smoking a cigarette, and it's like weird. He looks like Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, I think that's a nod to hold on, all right, 102. Let me write down the spoiler code here. Spoiler. All right. So like
spoilers.
Yeah, that first shot was really weird. But I liked it somehow because it I don't know. I think it's a nod to like Spider-Man in the comics has his mask up like that a lot when he's doing things, and
sure, Deadpool kind of looks like Spider-Man.
Yeah, he does. He's very similar to him. I think he's a spoof of him and Slade Wilson, who's Deathstroke. Anyway, yeah, and he's smoking a cigarette. This comes soon after he's doing this. Comes my favorite shot of the movie when he's smoking a cigarette and he takes a drag, doesn't exhale, puts his mask on, and then just, for no reason, exhales all inside his mask, and it fumes out of him.
That's a decent little, like, character moment. Like, that is something Deadpool would probably do.
Yeah, I scoffed at it because I was just like, wow, that is so unnecessary, and, like, that's just ridiculously stupid. But it made me laugh, so, like, props. I laughed the hardest at that.
And, the first shot isn't it actually like a little like music box of like,
oh yeah,
Logan died. See that? Like I was just kind of like, oh, like haha. Like I get some people would find that really funny because it's referencing Logan, but to me, I was just kind of like, okay, like we get it, you know? Like that's something that should be clever, but it's just not working for me. Damn it, I don't know why. Am I past the whole meta thing? I don't know. Is that the first shot?
That's kind of where I don't.
Shot?
I believe that's the first shot of the movie. Actually, I don't really get your complaint about the whole like it's not meta enough, but then like moments like that don't place you because like that is a very meta moment. Like
no,
that's
I mean
extremely
like meta as in like Deadpool breaking the fourth wall.
Oh, there wasn't that much in it in this movie. Like there was more of it in the first one, a lot more. Because he would address the audience much more. And he doesn't really do it that much in this movie. He makes jokes that only the audience would get, but that's not the same thing. Exactly.
So,
anyway.
Deadpool, he's like suicidal, and he like blows himself up, and it's very bizarre. Like,
you mean like getting gas tanks and...
Just not like what he actually did, but just like the execution of it, just all the flames and his body parts flying up. I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. And then it does that thing where it's like, okay, let's go back. Because that's what the first movie did.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Deadpool's like, oh, well, first, I guess we need to show you what happened before. Which, that's just kind of Deadpool's thing. That's what he does.
Yeah, and that's fine.
We get this montage of Deadpool, like, killing gangsters and mercenaries. And the R-rated violence, I don't know, it felt very cartoony. Like, it would, like, for a movie that's rated R, and from a guy who did John Wick, it would have been nice if there really was kind of, like, a brutal, like, something like Tarantino can do that well. Just like a scene of, like, brutal violence. Like, because it is R-rated, but the violence feels very, like, video gamey, and, like, it doesn't...
I don't think that Tarantino does cartoony violence very cartoonily.
He can do brutal violence good, too, though.
I mean, like, what are you talking about? Like, Hateful Eight, Django?
Yeah.
Like, because Kill Bill's extremely cartoony. There's nothing I buy in that movie.
Well, yeah.
There's not a single... In fact, the opening... That's kind of funny that you mentioned that. The opening scene... Not the opening scene, but, like, the part where he's going through and killing all the gangsters, that montage, it reminded me of Kill Bill Volume 1.
Yeah, oh yeah, kind of.
A lot, yeah. Especially with, like, the Japanese, like, like, presumably the Yakuza. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like, I might be generalizing that. But, like...
No, it's the Yakuza.
Is it just that one Japanese gang that they have that is in everything?
Isn't there another one called the Black Emperors or something?
I have no idea. I have no idea. All I know about is the Yakuza, yeah.
I say Yakuza.
Yakuza.
Yakuza,
it's probably that,
Yakuza.
But I just say Yakuza because I'm an ignorant American, I guess.
But yeah, we're getting just like a montage of Deadpool like killing people, and just I don't know, like the action and violence, like I don't know, is that a fair like thing? Like, because that's the thing, Deadpool is R-rated and it can be violent, but it just kind of came off as like, he's like cutting people off. It would have been nice if there was like one scene of like where it was just kind of like, oh, that was fucking brutal that Deadpool did that. Am I just being an ass?
I think you are just being an ass. I don't have that critique. I don't share that with you. That's okay.
Because really, like, Deadpool, like, in theory, Deadpool could be PG-13. No cussing. He could still be a snarky smartass. In theory. But it's not. So that's kind of redundant to even say.
I guess in theory, yeah, he could, but like he's meant to be like an over-the-top, very vulgar.
Yeah, vulgar, definitely.
Yeah, and that would obviously never work in a PG-13 film. But whatever. That's that. Anyway,
so this scene is when I kind of got rubbed the wrong way.
Okay,
it's when Deadpool gets home to his escort girlfriend that he's very much in love with, and like. I don't know, like, you could argue that it's being played for, like, comedy, but it's meant to be, like, sad. And, like, she's like, let's have a kid. Like, and it's, like, lovey-dovey and stuff like that. And then, like, a gangster comes in and shoots her. But it's played off as, like, dramatic. And I was like, okay, that's just, like, bad writing. Like, it's meant to, like, manipulate the audience to think that, oh, like Deadpool, this like vulgar movie, it also has heart and real emotion, and I didn't buy that when she got shot, and it's supposed to like tug at your heartstrings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't share that critique either. I just think it's like it was a reason to have him do a certain thing. It's a plot device.
Yes, but it's not. But it's not played for comedy. And
no, it's not. It's meant to be dramatic and give you. I guess give him a reason to like want to die, because like now he wants to die.
It is a plot device.
Yeah, it's
much like how she was in the first movie.
Yes, she is a plot device. I think that overall, like, I don't know. Is it? Here's the thing. Here's a question. Is it trivial to critique this movie at all? Because it ends up being the whole movie is completely worthless. Like in the end,
it is a worthless movie.
Yeah, it is. Like it's completely meaningless. Like we wasted our time watching this movie because like all of it is undone. All of it is. It's canon. The writers even said like they were like, yeah, that's completely canon. Everything he did was canon. And they were like, yeah, we know that he saved Vanessa in the end. Spoiler alert for this.
Wait, he did he?
Yeah, he did. He saved her.
I don't remember that.
He did. Did you walk out?
No.
He goes back and makes sure that he throws the knife earlier and kills the guy before Vanessa dies.
Is this during the end credit scene?
Yes.
Oh. What? Like,
the whole movie is rendered meaningless.
I wasn't really paying too much attention to that. I must have been like kind of zoned out or something because I don't remember that.
He 100% saves her life and then goes back and then enters a new timeline and murders Deadpool from Origins.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and then he kills himself.
Yeah, he shoots Ryan Reynolds because he's like, "Oh, you're making it to the big leagues now."
Yeah,
I remember that. How come I don't?
I like that scene actually quite a bit. How silly it was that he's like, "Oh, this is your big break."
Yeah,
just murders him.
It's like
kind of funny.
Yeah,
like that.
It's like we get it. Like they made the jab at it in the first Deadpool.
I liked. I didn't actually like. I don't think the joke is that great, but like the way Ryan Reynolds says it, it's just like very classic dumb Hollywood moment. Just this is your big break, kid.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking any of that stuff was like really that like canon. So wait,
apparently it's 100% canon.
So the whole movie's worthless.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes.
Okay.
Time is so dumb. The shit that they play with in this movie is so silly, but it would only work here. Like I guess it works because it's like it doesn't make sense anyway. So why even try? I don't know. I get it, but whatever. Yeah. So anyway, is it just worthless to critique this film?
I mean, I guess no, because it's still a movie.
Yeah,
but it is fundamentally just a joke.
Yeah. The whole film's a joke, and I don't know. It's nothing continuity-wise I can critique because it doesn't make sense in the first place.
I have a hot take.
Do it.
For Deadpool 2.
Do it.
I think I told you, and you're kind of just like, yeah, they could have done that. Why not have the cable scene be the opening of the movie before, like, the little like stinger at the beginning where he like brings up the hologram of Deadpool and Fire Fist. Like, why was that's just like shoehorned in like in the movie? Like, why not have that be the opening scene? That would have been like a decent opening. Yeah,
that would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, because
but it just didn't. I don't know. Maybe it would have come across as a little bit too much Terminator-y.
Terminator-y. I mean,
it's a little. It's referenced one time. When he's called John Connor.
Yeah.
Even though that doesn't make any sense because he's more of a Terminator in this movie anyway.
He wasn't calling Fire Fist John Connor?
No. He was calling Cable John Connor.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's kind of a weird joke. He should have been like, he's Arnold in this scenario. Anyway, God, I don't like this metal piece. It really resonates too much. Anyway. Oh God, it's annoying. Listen to it. It just goes on and on and on. Anyway.
I have a plot hole though.
Please.
It's not really a plot hole. It's just like, whatever. So you know how like Deadpool gets out of the prison? By the way, I hated the prison scene.
I wasn't looking forward to it, but then it didn't really last very long, so I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, if it had dragged on.
Yeah, I would take issue with it if it dragged, but it didn't drag, and they don't spend much time there, so it immediately is moved on.
It's just like a set piece too early in the movie, like, oh, like Deadpool's locked up in prison, like in this stage of the movie. Like this feels more like second act to like third act like thing, but it's like in the first like 30 minutes, and it's like, okay, we're just gonna see them break out, and it's just like this like crappy set, and so him and Cable escape, and then Deadpool, he could have just gone to like save the kid, but he goes back home to form the X-Force. And I don't think it's really addressed as a joke why he didn't just go get him. Because like the prison's like right there, and he falls into the lake, and then he just goes back to form. Like he could have just like gone back to the prison.
Well, what would he have done? Like hike all the way back up there and break back in and break him out?
Yeah, why not? He's Deadpool.
That seems extensive.
Yeah, but it doesn't make sense. But it's Deadpool, so it doesn't have to be good.
I don't know. I guess it just,
All right. I'll give it this. The whole X-Force thing, that was pretty good.
Like the
I liked that.
Like the team building thing?
Yeah, I liked that. That was probably the best part of the whole movie for me.
Yeah,
it actually felt like I don't know. It was a good scene seeing them like audition these superheroes and then like they all just end up dying. Like that was probably the best part of the movie for me.
Yeah, it was the only part that really like. I felt a little weird when Shatterstar died, and I know you don't even know who Shatterstar is, but like
the alien.
Yeah, he's just the guy.
Why did that upset you when he like flew into the
helicopter blades and like it was just like he turned to fucking soup, dude. Like I don't know, it just
really got to you.
No, it wasn't seeing him turn to soup. It was seeing like all like the soupiness of his
like
guts, on the window, and then like coupled with his ponytail getting like thrown in there for good measure. That just kind of unsettled me. I was like, oh, that's a little. It's so cartoony and so over the top that I was just like, that is just ridiculously dumb. And then seeing fucking not Alexander Skarsgård, different Skarsgård brother,
Peter
Skarsgård. It's
Bill
Skarsgård. Yeah, Bill Skarsgård get into a fucking like, oh god, like a mulch. Like a grinder?
Yeah, like a chipper.
Yeah, like a wood chipper. Yeah. And just get destroyed. That was pretty unsettling, too. Stuff like that, I don't like.
You don't like that?
No, I don't like that shit.
You shouldn't watch Fargo, then.
No?
Because that's, like, gruesome. If you want to see, like, a guy, like, being, like, in a wood chipper. I
don't like shit like that. Like, Kingsman 2 does it, too.
Oh, really?
There's a part where, like, a man gets thrown into like a hamburger meat grinder and like he's ground up into meat and then cooked and then eaten. And Julianne Moore is the one cooking it. It's a very sexually confusing scene.
So you don't like people being grinded?
No, that's disgusting.
Into like mulch.
No, that's horrendous to me. That is very horrifying. That's my thing. That's the thing I don't like.
That's when it goes too far.
Yeah, I'm not gonna close my eyes, but like I will be visually uncomfortable in the seat. God damn it.
Are you really repulsed by gizzards and their function?
Gizzards?
Yeah, like a chicken gizzard.
Oh no, it's fine.
Do you hate that? Do you hate that organ?
What is a gizzard? It's in its throat or something? Yeah,
it grinds up food because they don't have teeth.
Oh, fuck off. It's fine. It's fine. It's a chicken.
You fundamentally you're not okay with
it's
gizzards.
Just other men. It's not other men. It's like humans being disgustingly mutilated into tiny, tiny pieces by machinery is very upsetting to me. That is all.
See, I love shit like that in movies. Obviously.
I know you do. Like, I know that you.
Dude, I used to be obsessed with gore when I was in like middle school. Like gory movies.
Believe it or not, that's the most believable thing you've ever said on this podcast. Yeah, that is 100% not hard to see at all.
I had like a fucking like thirst for blood in film.
Oh, I know.
Like and like you don't really get good gore that much. Too much.
Yeah.
Like
this movie's got some decent gore for you, Collin.
Oh yeah.
It's got some really awful deaths.
Tarantino does gore very well.
Does he?
Yeah, dude. Like in Pulp Fiction when the gun goes off and the whole car is just covered in blood.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And like skull and brain.
Yeah, that's an excellent scene of gore.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah. God, you're a sick bastard.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but I fucking love gore. And
I know you do.
And I don't get enough of it. Gosh dang it. There's a good gore scene when you see the blood hit the script for Green Lantern.
Yeah,
that's a scene of excellent gore.
Gore scene, Raiders of the Lost Ark. Where he kicks the Nazi into the plane propeller.
Oh,
and it's not seen, but the blood splat. That's a famous one to me. It's just like a shower of like red. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very nice.
It's effective too.
Yeah, and it's not shown. It doesn't.
It's brutal though,
Yeah, it's kind of like this one, but like instead of blood, it's just like sludge.
Goo,
yeah, it's really gross.
See, like when they get pushed in the chipper, I believe blood shoots out. That's not like, to me, that's not like an excellent scene of gore.
No,
because I think
I enjoyed watching. I enjoyed when Zeitgeist just vomits on Peter and like
for no reason.
Yeah, just like melts half of him right there. It's like that's his end. That's how he dies.
I really liked Peter. I remember when he was in the trailer, that made me audibly laugh when I saw it. When he's like, I'm just here. And he's like, you're in. And then you just see him going through the sky, like skydiving. That was funny. And like Peter was a good bit. He had my favorite line.
He got saved in the end. So that's nice. Yeah, he did have your favorite line.
Yeah, he's
reciting it.
I think this is how it goes. He's putting on like sunscreen. He's like, well, I don't know about you. I don't know about this Cable guy, but I don't think he's killed as many people as Melanoma. And just the way he says it, it's very like, I wouldn't say cringeworthy, but like innocent. Yeah. He's such an innocent character. And then when he gets to the ground, you're just like, oh fuck, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
So the whole X-Force bit, to the interview, to the plane scene, to them jumping out, even though I didn't find it like hilarious that they're dying, because you speculated that.
I was like, heard a rumor that they all were gonna die, and I figure it's with the thing with these Deadpool movies is like there's very like significant plot leaks that happen, and I guess like script leaks. So the script for the first Deadpool movie leaked way before the movie came out. It almost came out exactly like the script said. And this is the same way. You could have read this script way long ago, and you would have known what happened, pretty much. Some things got changed, some things were shifted around, but overall, it was speculated on that, yes, Juggernaut would be in this movie. Yes, Domino, Cable would be in the movie. Yes, X-Force would be introduced as a joke and then die to be replaced later on with a more big name, like, cast of members.
Okay.
So, like, there are better members of X-Force. I think Shatterstar is, like, amazingly, he's the only big name one out of those characters. Zeitgeist certainly was not a big name
the
character.
Puker?
Yes. That was such a weird, obscure character to go with, too.
I can already see the clickbait.
Yeah.
Of things you didn't catch in Deadpool 2. Zeitgeist is played by Bill Skarsgård. Oh, you don't know who that is? He's only Pennywise. That's gonna blow like so many people's minds.
Yeah, it will.
You know,
the fact that Terry Crews played Bedlam, I've never even heard.
Yeah,
of Bedlam.
I forgot he was even in it.
Yeah, he's not really in it.
His death was kind of brutal.
Yeah, it was. Just smashes into a bus.
Into the windshield, and I think like half his body is like in it, and his other half is just like on the windshield.
Yeah. And they end up doing CPR to him. Oh, let's talk about this member of X-Force.
The Vanisher.
The Vanisher. Actually played by Brad Pitt.
Yeah. When that happened, I kind of rolled my eyes. I was like, oh, little Brad Pitt cameo. I wasn't sure if it was him, because it is very quick.
Yeah.
That's another Easter egg. Does he look familiar? Pause it, and you'll realize it's Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I guess I get it. I don't know. I think that...
would the joke be funnier if it was just no one? The parachute just lands? Or is it funny that it actually was someone?
I think it would have been funnier if the parachute just landed.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, it was actually, like, literally just no one.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of funny. But
it would have been.
We got a little Brad Pitt cameo. Fuck.
Did you know that? Alright, you're not going to know this. So the guy, no, you won't know this. This is insane. No. Alright, so remember the scene where Cable comes into, like, he time travels back and those country guys are talking on the truck?
They're talking about, like, wiping their asses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The main guy who's talking about wiping his ass and stuff, Matt Damon.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
The fat guy?
Yes.
That was Matt Damon?
It's Matt Damon and Alan Tudyk on the back of that truck.
Is Matt Damon in a fat suit?
He has a beard and like has heavy makeup on. You will not be able to tell it's him unless you know.
I want to see this on like IMDb.
No, it's confirmed by the writers. Yeah, it was really him.
Wow.
That's such a weird cameo. Why does he have so many weird cameos in these movies now?
In Marvel movies.
Yeah, like why is he...
That's just going over my head and eyeballs and everyone else too.
I guess he's just having a good time. He's like, let's just do this.
I
but
guess.
Also like Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, that's interesting. I wouldn't even think Alan Tudyk. That's very bizarre.
Yeah. But like, I remember it sounded like a McConaughey impression, and the writers were like, yeah, he was doing one. Like, he was doing a Matthew McConaughey.
Hot take.
Hey.
There's a horrible edit in this movie.
Okay.
So, I believe it's when Juggernaut gets released and he causes a bridge to collapse.
Yeah.
And they're all falling. It's kind of like slow motion. Yeah. And Domino falls on like an inflated panda.
Mm-hmm.
You never see the bridge fall. It just cuts and they're getting up and there's like wreckage. Like you start to see the bridge fall, but you never actually see it like impact on the ground.
I never noticed that.
Yeah, it's just a really like bad edit. Like you don't actually see the whole action. It starts to fall slow-mo and then Domino's getting up from a panda thing. And I was like, wow, they didn't even show the whole thing. So
I never noticed that, but whatever.
I mean that type of stuff happens in lots of movies. Yeah. I don't know how I caught it. I could be wrong. Maybe I missed something. I don't know. But I'm saying that there is a bad edit in there. Kind of like a blooper or like just a little error that may have gone over someone's head. I don't know. I guess I'll have to buy the Deadpool 2 Blu-ray so I can analyze that sequence.
I guess. You know, did Juggernaut really look that bad? I think from a distance he looked fine. Up close he didn't look great.
I wouldn't say he looked great. I would not commend the CGI, but I wouldn't be like, oh, it was god awful.
Yeah, also Ryan Reynolds voiced Juggernaut.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's who they got to do it, because he's credited as himself in the credits, Juggernaut.
Really?
Yeah. Someone pointed that out.
Really?
Juggernaut. Yeah, in the credits, Juggernaut as himself.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. I did not like the dubstep joke.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, it didn't.
That was like immediately dated.
Yeah, it didn't come off as cringe-worthy. Like that's what maybe like, oh, dubstep, that's cringy, but it came off as just like outdated, and it's like no one listens to that shit anymore.
Yeah,
like that's not funny. I'm gonna talk about jokes that I didn't like.
Okay.
There's a scene, I believe it's when Deadpool has the tiny baby legs, which was just gross.
I don't have a problem with it. That was disgusting, but like also really like it was meant to be like that. It was meant to make you uncomfortable. Got it. It did it.
This part triggers me.
Okay.
Triggers me.
Okay.
So I believe it's when he has the baby legs and they're all like kind of arguing or something, and the cab driver, for no fucking reason at all, is just like he says it almost like kind of angrily or something, but he says the proposition has a wonderful Guy Pearce performance. And like what?
That's not exactly what he says. It makes sense. Like he that's not even a sentence, what you just said.
That's what he says. He says something like he brings up, it's very quick, and like that's the joke. Like, oh, that's random. Like it goes back to just the writers like pitching things and oh my god, let's make a proposition reference. I haven't even seen The Proposition. It's like some Western from like 2005. Directed by, some guy who's made some other movies. Are you looking it up?
Yeah. I think that, okay, Cable says, yeah, The Proposition does have Guy Pearce in it. That's what I was fact-checking.
Who's it directed by?
Let me see. John Hillcoat.
What else did he do?
I have no idea. Let me check.
Click his name. Did he do like Jesse James?
He did Lawless, 999, The Road.
Oh, The Road. I've seen The Road. 999, that kind of came and went.
Anyway, I think because Cable comes in and is like, I have a proposition for you. And Dopinder is such a simple-minded person, but also somehow he's seen The Proposition. So he references that. I don't know.
Okay, maybe. I don't know. That just came out and I was like, what? Like, what the fuck? Like, even if it is in context of something that was already said. Just weird. So,
yeah. I didn't like his character in this. The cab driver. I found him very annoying.
Yeah. Some would say...
That's a gripe I have.
Would you say that maybe it's a stereotype?
No.
He's portrayed as annoying and naive.
I would just say that's his character. I wouldn't say that that's typical of Indian people.
Yeah, I know.
The stereotype of Indian people would be that they're
I'm
very knowledgeable of things.
Aren't there some people who are griping about like stereotypes in this movie or something?
Sure, people are. I mean, I think that I'm sure people are. I don't know. People gripe about everything.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
I don't know. I find it, I guess, like, it's stereotypical that he's a cab driver. That might be a thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But also, like...
Oh, Domino, she has an afro. What is this, a blaxploitation movie? And it's like...
Well, she's not black in the comics.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Did you not?
No.
No.
She was okay. Like, I like that she had her little power, but you could have just taken her out of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess.
You know,
she's
like,
useful.
Yeah, but I don't know. This movie just kind of, it is kind of a worthless movie. But it's a comedy, and it is full of humor. So
yeah,
I'd say that's a positive of it, even though I didn't particularly enjoy it, because you know, the story is kind of like second to the humor.
Yeah.
And I wish that they could have done both, and that would have made a great movie. Instead of just heavily like relying on one, and then just like the plot, kind of not. It's there.
Yeah.
It's there, but you're not. And I wasn't invested in it. I didn't feel engaged by it particularly.
Fair enough.
And I think they should have. I wish they would have found like a place to do both, and that would have made a great movie. That's all. That's all I have to say about Deadpool 2. I don't think is that unfair?
No, it's not unfair.
That's what I wish they would have done. Any final words for Deadpool 2?
Final words for Deadpool. We still have to go over the ending of this movie.
No, yeah. I was just
jumping the gun a little bit.
I was starting to run out of steam a little bit.
I know, it's okay. We're at the hour 30 mark. It's been a very quick podcast, this one.
Yeah, it has.
Which is good because we still have an entire other one to do too. Yay. We're gonna stop for vitamin water. Before this. We'll go for a little jog.
Good.
So the ending of the movie ends. It's complicated time travelness, I guess. So like Cable, Deadpool, and the whole X-Force that's left teams up. They go fight. Not really fight. They go to kind of win the kid over, and they eventually do.
Change his heart.
Yes.
Basically.
Yes. And
they do. Because Fire Fist grows up to be this like evil fucker who kills Cable's family.
Yeah. And that's revealed, and that's okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, yep. So it ends up they all live happily ever after. Everybody's saved. Deadpool is dying for a brief minute, and Cable travels back and saves him, so he doesn't have to deal with that.
Yeah, that was. I
didn't buy that.
Yeah, that pissed me off too, because I was like, all right, he's not gonna fucking die. I hate it when movies do this. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes did it. Oh, is he dead? Deadpool 2 doesn't really do it, but it almost does. Black Panther does it. Oh,
wait, what does Dawn of the Planet of the Apes do?
When you think Caesar is dead, you think Koba killed him, and he's like gone for like 10 minutes of the movie.
Dawn does that?
I think so, yeah. I'm pretty sure. Black Panther definitely does it.
Yeah.
So let's just say Black Panther, and like, it's just bullshit. And then Deadpool 2, like, they almost do that because it's kind of like a variation of it. It's showing him die, not like he disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just kind of like, he's not actually going to die.
But is that referential? Like, him drawing it out that much and just, like...
Yeah.
That was, like, is it making fun of that thing that you hate that movies do? Because, like, it's just...
Yeah,
it goes on for so long.
It's played for comedy.
Yeah.
Because
this movie's so hard to critique. Like...
It's like Freddy Got Fingered.
Oh my god. Nothing is like Freddy Got Fingered.
It's like Freddy Got Fingered. Like, they were just trying to intentionally make a worthless movie. That smells great.
Yeah, it does.
Right into my mouth.
Yeah, it does.
So, Cable is actually not the bad guy, which, like, he could have been a good bad guy. Could have just been a generic bad guy he defeats in the third act. They decided to make him a good guy. because he's not really a bad guy. He's just a guy trying to get some revenge. You know, Josh
I wouldn't
Brolin...
say that he's trying to get revenge. I would say that he's trying to just save his family.
Well, yeah.
It's not a revenge thing. It's just like
he's going back.
He's trying to prevent something from happening, which is more compelling than revenge. But whatever.
I didn't think Josh Brolin was really that particularly great in this movie. He was fine, like, you know.
I actually enjoyed him quite a bit. I thought he was good.
He was fine. Like,
I enjoyed him.
Like, the whole cast was fine, except for T.J. Miller. Because fuck that guy.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Yeah, he's like a movie deflator. Popped up in Ready Player One, just his voice, and it's like, get him out of here. So, end credit scenes. Was there one at the very, very end of the credits? Because I didn't stay until like the credits were completely done.
Oh no, there wasn't.
There wasn't.
No.
All right, cool.
Yep. Nope. You were good. You're good to go. There was nothing in it. It wasn't that important. Geez, I'm looking at the cast of 999. It's pretty good. It's a good cast.
Has Gal Gadot in it.
Yeah, it does. Casey Affleck, Anthony Mackie, Chiwetel Ejiofor, Woody Harrelson, Aaron Paul, Kate Winslet,
Jesus,
Gal Gadot, Norman Reedus, Michael K. Williams. I'm dead set. Like, this is real.
That's a stacked ensemble cast.
Yeah, Jesus. Like, this movie must have been so expensive. But yeah, anyway. It was movie was good. It ends. I guess the first end credit scene is them fixing the time traveler.
Yeah.
Which, by the way,
Yukio.
Yukio.
The K. I thought he called her Yu-Gi-Oh at first.
He might have. I don't know.
I don't think he did.
No. They're the moment where they're fixing it and stuff, and they're like, all right, well, we have it fixed. I found that at first I found it annoying that I was like, oh, like, okay, I guess Cable just sacrificed that charge for nothing, because now the thing works perfectly well and it's unlimited. But like,
yeah, I didn't get where they're going with it. I was like, is this to set up some like not like the next movie in this universe or something?
They will do something with it that I'm going to speculate on in a minute. But I found that Cable saying like, oh, well, I'll fix it when I get to it or whatever. Like, I want to spend some time here first. That's obviously for X-Force, but whatever, I can buy it. And at first I was like, well, I guess now he can just go back. It wasn't really a sacrifice of anything, but to him it was, because he thought he was out of charges, and he might have just been like, all right, well, I'll use this one now, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it bothered me at first that they immediately fixed the time traveling device, but then it doesn't really bother me anymore now. And the fact that Deadpool goes and uses it, he can do that. He has a thing on his belt, I think, that allows him to either teleport or time travel. Can't remember. Maybe both. I don't know. They're going to use that to go get X-23 from the Logan timeline. I'm guaranteeing it. Guarantee that.
What if he uses the thing, goes back to the end of Logan and saves his life, and then like 2 weeks later it's like, Variety's reporting that Hugh Jackman is signed on for another 3 X-Men movies. Yep, he's returning as Wolverine.
God. Oh my god.
How shit would that be?
That would be so shit. God. I guess that this version of Deadpool and Logan finally shared the screen in a way. In a way, I'll take it. Whatever, it doesn't matter. They've done it now. It's canon, I guess. I found that
I didn't find this as like a very like, oh, like, yeah, you need to see this in theaters. Honestly, I'd tell people just like wait for like Redbox. Honestly, I would not tell. I would not tell people like to go see that. Definitely. Like, no, I just be like, just wait for it to like for home for this movie. I don't think it really warranted like, oh, you got to see it on the big screen. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't even I don't even like think this is on par with like summer movies. It didn't really feel like a like big like blockbuster, like the type of movie you would expect this time of year. You know,
I don't really know.
I think
I
they
don't
should
really know what you would expect. Though.
I think they would have. I think they could have made more money off of this if they had kept it in like more random month. You know, obviously not February because that's when Black Panther came out.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Because this movie made just slightly less than the first Deadpool. It still did fine, but it made slightly less. And I don't think they were planning on that. I think they were planning on this to make more than the first Deadpool.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, we're gonna release this in May. It's gonna be a huge, you know, box office smash, and it's doing fine. But I think they wanted it to do better, and like compare this to like, I know it's unfair, but to like Infinity War, that feels like a summer movie.
Yeah.
Not to compare, just to compare like the scope and like what you expect out of like summer blockbusters. This didn't, it felt kind of like quaint and small, and I don't know where the budget went because the effects were kind of average. Like whenever Cable like shot Deadpool or like someone like Deadpool went flying, I was like, oh, that looks like shit. And like the first Deadpool was pretty like cheap because they were like taking a gamble with it.
Yeah.
In this movie, it has like double the budget, but it looks like the same movie. So where did the money go? Just the cast?
Maybe the cast.
At first,
I don't know.
At first, I thought it had the same budget, and they were doing it just so they could make, like inflate money. I guess. Is that a shitty studio thing to do? Let's purposely make a movie that we know will make like nearly $1 billion just so we can make more money. Like, imagine if Marvel did that.
What do you mean? Like,
hey, this, like, Feige's like, don't tell anyone, but Avengers 4, we only put like $50 million into it. I want to find a studio that does that. I think Adam Sandler does that.
Probably.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's what I thought Fox was doing. Then I looked at it and I was like, oh, this is like $100 million movie.
Yeah.
And I thought they were being assholes and just making it cheap, just so they could get profit.
But I think that some of the budget, Deadpool looks better than he did before.
Yeah,
the makeup and stuff is better off than it was.
He looks fine.
Yeah, Colossus still looks good. He always looked good though. Like, I think that making him a CGI character is such a good move. That's such a good CGI character. Because he is exactly how big he needs to be. As opposed to like, you look at like Days of Future Past. No, like I'm thinking of like other versions of Colossus on film. He looks bad.
I thought this was the only one.
No, he's in the other X-Men movies, but really? He just doesn't look this good or memorable. Because he's like enormous. Also, I think Deadpool might be sexually attracted to Colossus, and I'm not kidding.
Yeah, he grabs his
yeah.
Colossus has a nice ass.
Yeah, he does. It's very hard,
very firm.
Yeah, it's made of steel.
Yeah, it's like a bubble, firm steel bubble.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I like Colossus in these movies. He's pretty cool.
He's like friendly.
Yeah, he's a good X-Man.
He's a good X-Man.
Yeah, he's just a good X-Man. Anyway, so that's Deadpool 2. Do you want to talk about anything else regarding that?
Already brought up the box office. There's the bit where the X-Men are hiding from Deadpool. That's another thing.
Continuity-wise, that makes no sense, but it wasn't really meant to. I don't think it was ever meant to make sense.
I don't think Fox cares about continuity.
I don't think they do either.
I think the only thing that matters now is that Logan's dead.
Yeah, you're right.
Hugh Jackman is dead. As long as they keep that in continuity. Other than that, I don't think they've ever really cared. That scene, it was cute, but I was just sitting there and I was like, I know this is funny, but why aren't I like impressed? Because it was like a nice little bit. It came off as kind of corny, maybe.
Yeah, I wasn't bothered by the corniness of it. I kind of always, at first, I was like, all right, that's the team from the 70s. Like, There's no way.
What did you want Kelsey Grammer Beast in that room?
Maybe I did. Mainly, I didn't want Cyclops to be the same age he is in the first one, which is like 19.
Wait, was he
in
played,
Apocalypse?
Wait, was he played by
Ty Sheridan?
Yeah.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he was.
I mean, in Deadpool 2.
Yeah, he was. That was the same cast. James McAvoy was there.
Really?
Yes, he's in that shot.
Is he in the wheelchair?
Yeah, he is.
I didn't notice that. The only one I noticed was Beast and Quicksilver.
True. Did you know that James McAvoy is going to play Bill? In It Too? Did you not know that?
Is he?
Yes.
No fucking way.
I'm pretty sure he is.
I hope he does.
He's signed on, yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't.
Him and Jessica Chastain and Bill Hader are the only definites right now.
James McAvoy?
Yeah.
That's
pretty stellar.
Yeah. Way better than Jason Bateman.
Was that thought of?
I think so, kind of.
Oh my god. That's awful. That's terrible casting.
Yeah, James McAvoy. I want to say maybe he's a little too young, but like how old is he actually?
I think he's perfect. No, I think he's perfect.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Just get him to grow his hair out a little bit.
Oh, well, yeah. You don't want him to be
No, I don't want him to I don't want him to
like
be
Kevin.
no, that would be horrifying. Just get him to grow his hair out to like how it was in Wanted. And there you go, you have it. Maybe a little shorter.
Cool.
Yeah, that's kind of good, right?
Uh-huh. But
I read that somewhere and I was like, there's no way Collin knows about that because you would be raving as you just did.
I haven't even heard about that. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, it's good casting.
So that's Deadpool 2. Snyder says, it's all right. Me, wasn't my cup of tea.
And that's okay. We can agree and disagree on different things, and that's really perfectly fine.
I want to bring up some excellent scenes of gore in film.
Okay.
I don't know if I can think of any off the top. That's kind of a hilarious segment. Imagine me like in like a robe next to a fire. Classical Theater presents excellent scenes of gore in film with Colin Goody, like smoking a pipe.
Yeah.
Today we'll be focusing on the scene in Pulp Fiction where a gun goes off and shoots a guy in the head.
Yeah, it's one moment, and you have to watch the whole movie to lead up to that one moment. And then after it happens, you also have to watch the rest of the movie. It's like a Clint Eastwood, or not, no, sorry, Quentin Tarantino's like theater, where it's him presenting on like, I don't know what channel that was. Like
16mm film, his theater or something. Doesn't he have something like that?
Maybe, but like it's a YouTube channel. It's not a YouTube channel, but he was on like a channel, maybe it was MTV or something, where he was like, hey, like I'm Quentin Tarantino, here I'm going to talk about a movie and then you're going to watch it. So he's like, There Will Be Blood is fantastic, and it's his follow-up to Boogie Nights, or not really his follow-up, but you know, like he's like, he made Boogie Nights, then he makes There Will Be Blood. Amazing. Great. I love it. Scorsese. Crazy. I know it's not Scorsese. He talks about Scorsese's movies too. And I can't remember which one. No, it's Taxi Driver.
Is it the one where he's like, Travis Bickle, is he racist? And it's just like, is he? I've seen some interview where he talks about Taxi Driver.
Tarantino?
Yeah, he talks about how it's like one of his favorite movies, and he's talking about it, and he refers to Travis Bickle as a racist, and I'm like, I don't come off him as like a racist. Yeah, he stares down some like pimps during a scene, and he stares down a black guy, but I figured he just saw everyone as worthless. I didn't come off as like, oh, he discriminates against race.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's something
that's kind of interesting.
I didn't get that. Maybe I misheard it, but
I don't know. It's kind of weird, but he was talking about Taxi Driver and how the story behind Scorsese and the blood coloring and stuff like that, and how he's gonna like murder his studio executive or something. Like I don't know, like the guy from the MPAA or something. I don't know what it was exactly, but like how that was probably true.
That's very bizarre that they actually.
That is very weird
that they actually desaturated it just so it could get approved, because it is a little jarring. Like you can notice when it cuts to where it's desaturated, and like it's just kind of bizarre. And I feel like it's kind of
it's not as bright red, right? It's more like black, or like
it doesn't look like realistic blood.
Okay,
it doesn't come off as like convincing. It looks more like raspberry-y. It's not like a deep red, which is probably what it was intended to be. And it doesn't really hurt the movie, but it's kind of a shame because that could have been an excellent scene of gore. Well, it still is, but you're just not. I mean, I guess you could, like, maybe you could color correct it on a computer or something. It's just weird because, like, they couldn't just cut that scene out at the end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, it had to be in there. Like, it's the climax.
You're right, yeah.
And they're just like, oh, let's just make the blood look kind of pink and gooey. Some people say that it makes the film more effective because it makes the blood look grosser, but whatever.
Yeah. You know, I thought, I saw this on TV the other day. Death Proof was playing on TV, so I decided to watch like a little bit of it. I ended up changing the channel because the A's game was on. So
I thought you were gonna say because you're disgusted by the car crash scene.
No, that is a very awful car crash scene. Though. Is that good gore?
I don't know.
I would say yes because a leg. There's just a leg that flies out. It's kind of disgusting.
Yeah, that is disgusting. Doesn't like a tire smash someone's face?
Yeah, and you see it. That is pretty great, but. Boy, the film grain on that shit. It's like...
Is it horrible?
It's kind of bad, yeah, like, I don't know.
Dated effect. Like, oh, we put a digital, like, film, like, scratch going across the screen.
Yeah, and, like, it cuts awkwardly sometimes, like, as if, like, the film was cut prematurely, or, like, you know,
I know
lines of dialogue are cut off, like...
As if the person cutting the film with scissors like fucked up and they like taped it.
Yeah, it's really weird like that. I don't know how to feel about that.
That was like the whole gimmick though, when Grindhouse like came out. Like, oh, it's like an exploitation movie. So it's literally a gimmick.
Word.
But it's kind of now in hindsight, it's kind of just like I wish it wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It could have maybe been better.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of made me a little like it distracted me more than anything. It didn't make me feel like I was watching like cinema, like he wanted it to be. You know what I mean?
Felt kind of like,
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's phony. And it might even be like a real like scan like of the original like film reel of when they showed it.
I wouldn't
like,
put it past Tarantino to go that extra mile.
No, like I'm sure it was, and I'm sure that like. He actually cut the film himself in the editing room. They really cut that film. Like, and they really tried to make it on purpose look bad. And not bad, but you know what I mean? Like,
it comes off as like forced and not like
not natural.
Not cool.
Like it's not.
They were trying to make it look cool. Like it would be a Grindhouse exploitation movie, but it just comes off as like forced.
Yeah.
And like it's like we know you were just trying to make it look this way. It's not that's not actually how it looks.
Yeah. It's hard to describe to you like how like there's really apparent scratches and stuff like that, and like it's pretty much every moment of the movie. It doesn't hold off. There's not a moment where it stops.
Is it like it's like the lens flares in the first Star Trek?
Yeah, kind of like that.
I've only seen Planet Terror. I've never seen Death Proof.
You should really watch Death Proof. It's pretty good.
Is it?
Yeah.
Planet Terror was
it's
fun.
It's kind of over the top and like silly because like Kurt Russell plays like just a bad guy, and like there's a moment where he's watching from the shadows and he's just like, and it's obviously Kurt Russell. Like you just don't buy it. You're like, oh, you're that guy who's married to Goldie Hawn. That's crazy.
Dude, oh my god, dude!
What?
I was on Kurt Russell's Wikipedia page last night.
Really? Were you?
I was actually watching Poseidon on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Poseidon.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
It's a remake of the '70s disaster film, The Poseidon Adventure. It's about the cruise liner that capsizes and everyone at the bottom has to like work their way up through the ship. It's a disaster movie.
Okay, yeah.
It's a remake.
Yeah.
And it's basically been forgotten about.
Oh.
And I was just looking through Kurt Russell's thing, and I was like, oh, he's been married to Goldie Hawn for like 30 years.
Yeah,
it's hilarious you bring it up, because I did read about that last night.
Yeah, they are quite in love. Good on them, you know? That's a pretty fucking long time.
You know one of Kurt Russell's earliest performances? The computer wore tennis shoes.
Wow.
I believe it's like a Disney movie from the late 60s.
That's weird.
It's a weird title.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's about like I don't know, like some android guy or something. I don't know. The computer wore tennis shoes.
Interesting.
Has an excellent scene of gore.
No. It's just Kurt Russell blowing his brains out horrendously all over the screen. And it oh God, it's Disney. It's like Songs of the South. Song of the South? Is that the one that Disney doesn't want you to remember?
Yeah, that's the one.
They have a ride based off of it.
Yeah.
It's Big Thunder Mountain. No, it's not Big Thunder Mountain. It's Splash Mountain. Splash Mountain. They have a lot of mountains at Magic Kingdom.
The Matterhorn?
No, that's not it. Oh. Mountains. They have Space Mountain, Big Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain. Probably another mountain.
Well, Jacob, what's more exciting than a mountain to climb? That's adventure.
A plateau.
A plateau.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. You climb up it, then it's just flat.
There's a great song off of Nirvana's Unplugged Live in New York album called Plateau. I believe it's a cover by the Meat Puppets. It's a good song.
Cool. Is there anything you want to talk about? Because we're nearing the end of the show here.
I've been listening to. Well, I've always been a big fan of Rush.
Okay.
And they were woke as fuck.
Rush?
Yeah. They've been woke for a long time. And
so you're listening to Rush? Is that basically what you're saying?
I've been a fan of Rush for a long time. But yeah,
it seems random.
I was trying to think of things that I was thinking about recently, and
okay.
I think Rush they're probably the greatest band of all time.
That's very controversial.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people do agree.
The greatest band of all time, the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, maybe if you're 80.
It's just classic, man. I mean, you have the Beatles, you have the Rolling Stones, you have Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, but Rush just. I don't know,
you have Greta Van Fleet.
They Rush, no.
And the black smoke. Fuck Greta Van Fleet. I want to end the show on that note.
Fuck Greta Van Fleet.
Not really, but all
right, Rush they're definitely one of them.
Top 5
for me.
Top 5 of all time.
They're all they're. I don't think anyone will disagree that Neil Peart and Geddy Lee are easily the greatest at their respective instrument in the genre. I'm not talking jazz and shit like that. Oh, but that jazz drummer. Just an amazing band. Look them up. And the lyrics. It's I'll listen to it and it's just ain't that the fucking truth? So yeah, listen to Rush. They made 20 albums. They performed for over 40 years. And they stopped because they literally just their bodies couldn't do it anymore. That's another thing that I think that adds to the greatest band. They did it for so long. They're technically not even broken up. They just can't tour right now. Because Neil Peart's wrists are about to explode. So I think that's maybe a strong argument. Their music was always very consistent with the band.
Okay, word. Yeah. Well, listen to Rush, podcast listeners. Go into your iTunes library, add a bunch of Rush on there.
Yeah.
Anyway, Collin, that's the end of the show. Where can we find you?
Nowhere.
Okay. Well, you can find you on Facebook at Collin Goode. That's Goode. You post semi-frequently into the Snyder-Collin podcast page. We all post there. We're all admins. Yeah, anyway. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Tumblr, everywhere at Jacob's Wetsuit. That is JACOBS WETSUIT. All one word. Jacob's Wetsuit. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Thank you so much. Shout out to Della Too Dope for the intro. Shout out to Denise and Ash for being very good people and for being very pleasant. They tipped me very well also. So thank you for that. 20%.
On what?
I don't remember. I don't remember the exact. I remember it was 20%. It was over 20% because I was very appreciative of it.
Wow.
And that is very nice of them to do that. They did not have to do that.
So we're gonna end this. Oh my God, there is another thing that I do want to talk about, but you know what?
Briefly.
I can't say. I'll say it for next
what
podcast.
What is it? Bring it up really quick.
Nah, it's the end. I'm gonna have to wait this one out.
Okay, well we'll talk about it. All right. Thank you, Alex, for managing the Facebook page. Thank you, Collin, for being on this podcast and starting it with me. Thank you so much.
My hubris is large.
I know it is. I know. Anyway, thank you for listening, guys. Take it easy. Have a good one. Go for violence.
We'll see you guys in a while. We'll have a movie review extravaganza, Solo, and maybe the new Jurassic Park.
Yes.
So stay tuned for that and for some movie commentaries.
Yep. While I'm gone, we will have things posting at the usual time every week. Episode 45 is coming next week, and that was recorded in February, so that is really weird. We haven't seen Infinity War. It's like a
paradox.
Yeah, it's kind of like Cable. We haven't even seen The Last Jedi, had we?
Yeah, we had seen The Last Jedi.
Had we?
Yeah, The Last Jedi came out in December, you goofball.
Maybe. Oh, yeah. Because, that's right. No, I didn't know what time we recorded this podcast at, because then we were talking about like the paradox with The Last Jedi.
Oh, that's when we did. That's when we did.
Very confusing.
That's when we did the Star Wars commentary.
I remember now.
And we hadn't seen The Last Jedi yet.
Mm-hmm. I remember now. Anyway, thanks for listening, guys. Yeah, have a good one.
Fuck Greta Van Fleet.
Yeah, fuck Greta Van Fleet.